And joining me now is Enza Alexander, Executive Vice President at ISA Cybersecurity. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
So now that more government bodies are following with this ban, let's talk about a full country ban. Is that possible to see that put in place here in Canada?
Well, I think when it relates to personal devices and personal use of any application, I believe that it's an individual choice. And, when we look at a social application, that there is an element of personal decision making there as to the applications that you may utilize. I believe that that would be and could be a challenge for some of the government bodies in Canada to really dictate what we do on our own personal devices.
And so let's talk about that then, our own personal devices, that personal choice. Should people feel safe having the app or perhaps consider deleting it?
Well, first off, I believe that we all need to read the terms of use as we enter applications, even though these are sometimes written to be quite legal in language. I think it's important that we understand as individuals how the application and the data which we put into these applications, the additional data that may reside on our devices, like our calendars and other information that might be shared, could be exposed in that application. And so, again, personal choice.
I think you sort of hit the nail on the head there. A lot of those terms of agreement, it's a lot of legal jargon. Not a lot of people use them. They simply hit, download. So could you walk us through a few things people should really understand? What kind of cybersecurity risks does an app like TikTok pose?
Oh, absolutely. So, with TikTok in particular, we understand that the amount of data that they gather in the application is significant. So the more data that an application is requesting from us or that we are entering into that application could all potentially lead to a cyber breach. And that could be an individual breach or a corporation breach, depending on whether or not that particular device is part of your own personal environment or could be both personal and a professional device. So first of all, we need to understand, what information are we putting in there and how is that information potentially used? So I say take the time to read those terms of use so that you're familiar with it. The other thing to keep in mind consistently is that depending on an application, depending on its origin, it may be shared. The information may be shared geopolitically outside of Canada or outside of what you would consider to be your network, both personal and or corporate. So have heightened visibility to what data should I give you and where is that data going and how can I govern what you're going to do with my data.
And so just quickly here, your best advice, your best tip for someone who has TikTok on their phone right now. What should they look at? Perhaps what should they do or block or not allow the app to see?
Well, I think that you can enter TikTok through a browser. And so I suggested that you use a known browser in your environment where you can access the application in a more secure fashion as the first point of reference. Let's not open up other information on our device to an application that may be providing information, whether it's marketing or profiling, to external sources.
Some great advice there. Thank you so much for breaking this down for us. Enza Alexander, Executive Vice President at ISA Cybersecurity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Stay cyber safe.